One small change here is that Nature's Grasp used to be a talent in the balance tree. It is now baseline for all druids. What it does is it'll put a buff up on you for 45 seconds, where if anyone hits you, they will be put in an entangling root. One of the ways that I like to use this most often is right before the doors open in arena, I'll pop this and then I'll go into stealth, and then that way when I either get opened on or I open and someone attacks me, they'll be put in entangling roots. One of the other changes made to this is that it now has 3 charges. So you see here the rogue opens me, gets rooted, then he cloaks, and then he opens me again and he gets rooted again. So just a small quality of life. Another boost to druids in Wrath of the Lich King are some of the changes that are made to the survivability cooldowns. So for those of you who don't know, Barksin is a buff that the druid can put up that would reduce their damage taken by 20%, and it's really nice because you can use it while in any CC, while you're stunned or feared or anything. The problem was in TBC, if you were in any of your druid forms, it would shapeshift you out. So you couldn't use Barksin while in bear form. In Wrath, you can now not only use it in any of your forms, but it's also completely off the GCD. So there's no longer having to choose between kind of being in bear form or putting up Barksin. This is a pretty big quality of life increase for this spell. And it just makes it way more versatile as far as using it defensively. One of the other defensive cooldowns that Blizzard changed for druids in Wrath of the Lich King is Frenzied Regen. So here on the left is how Frenzied Regen used to work in TBC. It was basically a flat amount where if you had the rage, you could get up to 250 health per second for 10 seconds. And that basically meant that you would get 2,500 health over 10 seconds. In Wrath, Frenzied Regen now scales based on your maximum health. So as long as you have the rage, you can get 3% of your maximum health per second for 10 seconds, which results in over the entirety of it being about 30% of your health. This is actually pretty big because what it means is that as you get more stats throughout the expansion, your Frenzied Regen will scale. Not only that, but this synergizes extremely well with the new defensive cooldown that Blizzard gave druids called Survival Instincts. So Survival Instincts is the new talent that ferals get, and it basically works like Last Stand does for warriors, where it temporarily gives you an extra 30% of your maximum health for 20 seconds. This is not only amazing for surviving double DPS comps or burst windows set up when your partner is in a CC combo, but it also synergizes extremely well when paired with Frenzied Regen, because your Frenzied Regen will now be regenerating more health because your max health will be higher. For instance here, if you notice, I have Wound Poison up on me, and yet my Frenzied Regen is still ticking for over 500 health, which means if I didn't have Wound Poison, I would be getting 1,000 health per second, and over the entire duration of my Frenzied Regen, I would actually get 10,000 health. When compared to the flat 2,500 health you were getting in TBC, this is a pretty big buff to Feral Druid survivability. Another area in which Feral Druids are buffed is with their movement and their ability to chase down and kill a target. One of these changes is with the Feral Charge talent now has a cat component. This allows you to, while in cat form, leap at the target and it'll daze them for 3 seconds. This is a great gap closer, and it can also be used to jump up certain ledges and platforms that you previously couldn't do with bear form. The other talent we have is Infected Wounds. Now makes it so whenever you mangle or shred the target, it will slow their movement speed by 50%, along with their attack speed being decreased by 20%. This is great for peeling, and it's great for chasing down healers. That with you always moving faster in cat form makes you feel very fast. And one of the last changes made in this regard is Maim is no longer an incapacitate, but instead functions like a stun, basically like how Kidney Shot works. This is great because it allows you to apply a ton of pressure on your target by getting them low and then applying a big stun on them and continuing to pump damage, when before you could only use Maim as a off-target CC. Another big difference for Feral and Wrath compared to TBC has to do with our energy management and regeneration. So in TBC, energy regenerated in ticks, where every 2 seconds you would get a chunk of 20 energy, while in Wrath, your energy just regenerates at a constant rate. This feels much more consistent for planning out your moves, and this change, along with the changes to our Führer talent, makes energy management and regeneration feel very different than it was in TBC. So for those who don't know, in TBC, if you had 5 out of 5 Führer, it didn't matter how much energy you had when you left Cat form. When you went back into Cat form, you always started back at 40 energy. In Wrath, if you have 5 out of 5 Führer, you can leave Cat form at 100 energy, and when you come back, you'll have 100 energy. Beyond that, your energy actually regenerates while you're in bear form or caster form. So you can utilize doing things in your other forms while your energy regenerates. This is a huge quality of life improvement and makes the Druid feel way more versatile than it did in TBC. The other change that was made as far as energy management goes is there's a new talent at the bottom of Feral Tree called King of the Jungle, and this makes it so that your Tiger's Fury ability basically instantly regenerates 60 energy. The way you want to use this is usually like right on your opener, or anytime you dump all your energy. You basically want to use this ability whenever it's up and you're below 40 energy, as it's free and it gives you an instant 60 energy. And last but definitely not least is our 51 point talent, Berserk. There are two major components to this ability. The first is that it reduces the energy cost of all of your Cat form abilities by 50%. This means that you want to be popping this ability when you're at maximum energy to ensure that you get the most amount of globals and spend the most amount of energy while under the effect. And second, Berserk will make you immune to fear. And not only does it make you immune to fear, but you can actually activate the ability while under the effects of a fear, making priests and warlocks, and even to some extent hunters with their scare beast, that much easier to deal with. And with that being said, guys, these are all the changes that I think you should need to know about Feral and Wrath of the Lich King PvP. If you have any that I missed or any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions to what kind of videos I should be making next, you can also put those in the comments as well.